is that when we begin IGCSE extended syllabus, like when we begin the syllabus, the first chapter itself is very, you can say that it's very easy. It's very easy to do. We know how to get along with it. And that chapter, what I'm referencing is numbers. But keeping all the factors in mind that it's really easy and most of the stuff you probably did in like grade 6 or 7 or whatever, like prime numbers and stuff. I don't know why there's a large percentage of students who do. I think maybe you guys take it for granted. I've not really gotten to the point where, I've not really tapped into the reason why it may be this, we're getting so many errors regarding it. So we're going to begin with that, and we're going to also, because the first chapter itself is like, it's not very difficult. You guys have done it back in like junior school and stuff, and it's kind of weird that we're doing it, but nonetheless we have to do it because of the fact that I've identified some errors in it. So the first chapter itself is your numbers. Now I'm going to be sticking to the syllabus. No, this is it. Yes, I'm going to be sticking to the syllabus alongside. I want everyone, I've said this multiple time in every class, that you guys should also have the version, the latest version of this downloaded, because we're going to stick to this. If anyone does not have this, I'll post it on Google Classroom, then there you can have access to it. And by the way, who are joining us for the very first time, we do have a Google Classroom. So kindly share me your emails so that we can add you on over there as well. Keeping all of this in mind, we begin our journey with probably the easiest topic of them all. Someone raised their hand. Yes, Sad.
Sir, what is the option code?
What's the what?
What's the option code?
Option code?
Yes.
Sir, I think he's asking about maths subject code 058.
Oh, this is it. 0580. All right. Is that what you're asking, Sad? I think he was.
No, sir. I had to ask you, is it AX or BX?
Oh, you're asking about the when we mark it, the grade threshold.
Yes.
I get it. I get it. Depends on region to region. Now, for example, usually I think every one of you is from the Middle East. Hopefully so. No one's from the Chinese countries, right? Anyone from the Eastern countries? No one. So, your what you may call your paper subject codes are going to be, all of them are going to be like 2 2 and 4 2. All right, your variant 2, paper 4, variant 2, paper 2, variant 2. So I think that is like, if I remember correctly, I don't remember. I'll have to check. But whichever one has the variant 2 with it, that is your code for it. All right, Sad, I think it was, I've forgotten
Yes.
which it
Thank you,
was.
sir.
I'll have to see. I'll confirm with you. Okay. Nonetheless, hopefully we have finally begun. So first off, we start off with your very first chapter of numbers, and those who are new to my classes will have to bear my handwriting all over again. When we begin with numbers, we're simply going to be, what's the first thing that I need to do? Like what's the whenever you begin math, what's the first thing that you should do? Like what's the first thing that defines what math is, or when you begin, you take steps into math, what happens? Yes, the stage is open to anyone to answer. Yes. What do you think we begin math with? Okay, that's a better version of the question. And I'll ask Shafe. Yes, Shafe. What is your idea behind? What do you think? How do we begin math? Yes, Shafe. Can you hear me, Shafe?
Yes, sir.
Come on, Shafe. It's all right. By the way, always remember in my classes, opinions are never wrong. So if I'm asking your opinion on something, then you shouldn't have this fear of being wrong or fear of not knowing something. All right, that's perfectly all right. Okay. So Shafi, we'll get back to you. Anyone would like to add on? What about you, Rani? What do you think we should begin math with? What's the basic essence of it? Yes, Rani. Rani. We're facing some connection disputes with Rani. Yes, Fahad.
Sir, counting or numbers?
Fahad,
Yes, sir.
I'm now starting to believe you're five. Fahad, come on. Guys,
Sir,
what the?
arithmetic operations like addition,
Uh,
subtraction.
yes, thank you, Fahad. Thank you. Or I can call it like word mass. Now, it is so simple, yet it is, I don't know, I don't get how people have gotten this wrong. It is very simple to the eye. It is this is the type of mistake that usually we label as careless mistakes. Or whenever we're checking the paper, we say that the student didn't read the question well, or they did it in a hurry, or they were just, plain dumb. So we can say all of those things because of the fact that one thing that you need to know that math is going to begin with, you opening your brackets and you're trying to solve through division, multiplication, and addition and subtraction. All right. Now, do not consider that this is going to just be limited to the very first chapters of math or anything. No, the entire umbrella is under this idea. So even if you go down to inequality, now where do students make this mistake the most? Now you guys will be thinking that maybe you're not capable of making this mistake because this is easy. Yes, I admit that this is very easy. But what happens is that when you make a composition of the question, in inequalities, I've seen this mistake a lot. When you're dividing and you're multiplying with a negative number, I don't know what happens. They do some very, very mistakes that can be avoided. So make sure with inequalities that happens, with factorization, sometimes this could happen. So make sure that you're not making this mistake, that you're following these rules, that whatever happens, you have to open the bracket first, then you have to do addition, multiple division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction last. Clear, guys? Feels weird telling you this because like you're all grown up, even far. Nonetheless, the second thing that I've noticed now, I'm trying to cover what the major mistakes that the students have made is that they somehow flip out on this. Secondly, what are prime numbers? Yes. Can anyone tell me what are prime numbers? Please. I hope someone
They're
knows
all
what are prime.
numbers.
They're
I
what
guess odd
numbers?
number. Odd
Ooh.
numbers.
Um, all right. Honey is partially correct. Can you tell us why, Zoya, honey is partially correct? Yes, Zoya.
Most of the prime numbers are odd except like number 2.
Well, perfect. Now, why? Then what is how do we differentiate between the prime and the odd? Hani is right, but she's partially right. Yes, Zoya.
Prime numbers can only be divisible by 1 and itself.
Yes, perfect. Very well done, Zoya. And this seems very childlike that the definition, I'm teaching you something that's probably been taught like a while ago. So any number which is not divisible, which is not divisible by any other number than itself, divisible by any other. I don't know why I'm writing this small though, but I like it. Any number which is not divisible by any other number apart from itself. And obviously one, but like who cares about one? So apart from itself. Obviously 17 is cannot be divided by any other number, but 17 is divided by 17. Similar is the case that, for example, now Honey was, she's spotted out what I wanted to actually tell you. What I wanted to tell you guys is that this is the most common mistake that, students make. In the, let's just say that in the heat of the exam, there will be prime numbers like, 3, 5, and 7. And you'll notice that the trend is that, most of them are odd apart from 2. But 9 is also odd, 27 is also odd, 15 is also odd. They are not prime numbers. I have literally seen this careless mistake from students who are not even, it's not as if they're like not good students. It's just that during the heat of, like, I don't know what happens, like flow of the exam or whatever, these are the two mistakes that I've seen the most happening. First of all, you guys lose sense of what is board mass. Second of all, you sometimes forget what is prime numbers, which is they are not like, it's kind of like, prime numbers, they're divisible by every number. They're not divisible by any number apart from themselves, and most of them are odd. It's a coincidence that most of them are odd. It's not as if, a prime number has to be, obviously, a prime number cannot be an even number apart from 2. But it's not as if, if it's an odd number, it's supposed to be prime. No, that's not the case. So make sure that you guys know this. Apart from this, I don't think I've seen major mistakes from, these are the careless mistakes from the very first uh, beginnings of your chapter syllabus. These are the major mistakes that I've seen. Now, once you're through with this, I can officially begin, the actual syllabus that I want to cover, which is that I'm going to begin with indices. So another very easy topic. And for those who have studied it before, it's going to be a walk in the park because, we've covered it before. We're going to try and cover it again. So when I focus on indices, what's going to happen is that my entire story revolves around the fact that there is going to be some sort of a base and a power. There is going to be some sort of a base and some sort of power on top of it. For example, this is referred to as the base, whereas this is referred to as the power. Can't really tell the difference between the highlight, but okay. This is your power. Also, indices is what you may call the plural version of index. And index is what? Power. So this is your power or this is your index. And this right here is your base. The base is simply any number, any constant, any variable, whatever it is, that is going to have some sort of power. And writing this down all together is known as writing it down in index form. So this entire, the way that it's been written down, it's called as writing it down in index form. And now, I don't know about you guys, but when I was young, it's been a while since I was young, but when I was like, I won't even say when I was your age. I'll say when I was like probably nearer to Fahad or something like, like grade 2 or 3 or something like that. When that happened, when I was in that age, I used to remember that my teacher used to go through with like, LCM, HCF like this. Has any one of you studied LCM and HCF like this?
I have studied, sir.
Who?
Yes.
Who has studied? Yes,
Abdul
sorry.
Basit.
Basit, yes. Basit has studied. Basit is just as old as me. No one else has. Which is a surprise. It's all right, Basit. Us old men have to stick together. So we used to study HCF and LCM like this. And in the end, what happened was that my answer used to be something big, like 2 times 2 times, like something big or something of that sort. Like that is how you do HCM, LCM, or product of prime factors or something like that. We don't do that now. Like that's obsolete now. That's like the core subject content. So what my teacher used to say, I still remember. I don't know how I remember. I can't even remember the difference between like uh, a lot of stuff, but I still remember this, that she used to always say that write it in index notation. And I used to ask her then as well, what did she mean by this? She used to say that write it in index notation. Technically, notation is just the way of writing something, and she used to say write it in index form or index notation. What she meant was that write it in terms of power. Like write it as powers of 2 or 3 or whatever it was, in order to squeeze down my answer. So that is the same thing over here as well. Whenever something is written as a power, technically they've written it in as index notation or index form. But surprisingly enough, we cannot blindly just accept this and continue on with this. There are a few rules that need to take place before we even think about using them. And let's go through these rules. Now, these rules are also divided into a few categories of themselves. For example, when your bases are equal or when they're not equal, stuff of that sort of happens and everything takes place. At the same time, let's look at the rules first. So, for example, your rules are, let's say that, when the bases are equal. So, let's consider a scenario where you got two or more bases being multiplied or divided, added, whatever it is. We'll see to it as we go along, but the bases are equal to each other. When the bases are equal, and spoiler alert, that they are also being multiplied and are being multiplied. Also, does anyone have any issues with this color, the pink one? I think it's visible clearly. I don't know. If anyone has any issues, looking at these colors, let me know. Because some might be too dark because we're using the black background with this. If bases are equal and they are being multiplied, technically we need to know what happens. So let's see. Now, I hope everyone's sitting with a calculator in class as well. Let's just say that, I have a power. Oh, I have a base. And on top of it, we have a power. And it's being multiplied to another base, which is I've stated in the beginning that the when the bases are equal to each other. So the bases are equal to each other. So that is going to be equal to. Now, what you're simply going to do is that if your bases are equal and are being multiplied, you will consider the same base, and simply what you will do is that you will add the powers up. All right, whatever those powers may be. So one thing that you guys need to remember is that when bases are equal and are being multiplied together, powers are added. Powers are added to each other. And you're considering the same base. You're going to consider the same base, whatever the base was, A, B, whatever it was. Make sure that if the bases are equal to each other and they are being multiplied, you're going to add the powers up. That is what we did. Now let's look at an example. Yes, Zoha, give me any example. Okay, like make it a difficult one so that I can't do it. Yes, Zoha.
So you can put a base as 20.
Okay, so I'll take the base as 20.
And then the power as 15.
The power as 15. And I have to multiply it to something which has, wait, why am I using a bracket? I have to multiply something with which has the base as 20, obviously, because you need to keep the base equal. And what is the power?
16.
Oh no. So how will we solve this? Yes. Any volunteer for this? I'm afraid I'm stumped. I cannot solve this. This is way too difficult. Apparently, Zoha thinks that, I cannot add 15 plus 16. Zoha, I asked for a difficult example. This is way too easy. Take it aside. 15 plus 16, which is equal to 31. I think so. Hopefully, I'm not wrong. That will be embarrassing. Yes, clear? Keeping this in mind, who shall I ask? Hamdan, give me another difficult example. Hamdan,
Yes.
make it difficult, Hamdan. You-
The base you should do 15
15 base is 15. Power,
negative 22.
Hamdan's cooking. Negative 22. All right. Hamdan is really angry at me for some reason. All right, Hamdan. No worries. Yes, and obviously the base has to be the same. And what about the next power, Hamdan?
Negative 15.
Negative 50. Yes. So simply what I'm going to do, okay. Even though this is not that difficult, but if you're faced with a question which has a lot of things going on in the power, what you're going to do is simply take your base aside, like completely ignore it for the time being, and just simply add your powers up first. So it's minus 22 plus minus 15. So technically they're all going to be adding together. So it's going to be minus 37, I guess. Yes. Is this clear, guys? Anyone who did not get this? Hani, Raneem, Basit, any issues with this?
No, sir.
All right.
The base should be 15.
The base should be 15. Perfect. Who was this? Thank you. My bad. It should be minus 37. All right. Also, do not make this mistake as well, the one that I did. Please make sure your eyes are open. Yes. Guys, come on, make it difficult. You guys are thinking that is as if I do not know how to add or subtract. Who shall I ask? Who should be my next victim? Yes, Shafe. Shafe, you're awfully quiet today. Yes, Shafe, give me like a difficult example. Like, make it so I can't. Yeah.
The base should be negative 80.
The base is negative 80. But you do realize, Shafe, that the other base is also going to be negative 80. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay, okay. Yes, and what's the powers?
Negative 28
Negative 28, and yes,
and positive 90.
positive 90. Again, Shafe thinks that I cannot do simple math. Can I not just write this as minus 80 and, just simply write it as 62? That will be my answer. It's like so simple. No, give me difficult. Please give me difficult. Someone brave enough. Someone. Yes,
Can
Komal.
I? So you can.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, Ani. Ani's freshly Googled some. Yes, Ani.
No. Okay. The base is 120
Base is 120.
and the power is, I don't know, 10,550.61.
Oh no. Honey still thinks that we don't have access to calculators or anything of that sort. Wait, okay, I'll give it. Okay, wait. I'll give you something easy. I'll give like 19 raised to the power 1 over 5. I'll give you guys an easy one. Minus 3 over 7. Solve this. And whoever does it first, raise your hand and say bingo so that I know. Yes. I need to do it quickly. You guys have I'll give you guys like 30 seconds. Fahad has raised his hand. Fahad, where's the bingo? How would I know?
Sir, bingo.
All right, Fahad. Yes, Fahad.
Sir, it's 19 to the power of minus 8 upon 35.
Haha, you're wrong. I don't really know. I was just a bit excited. Sorry, Fahad, could you tell us your answer?
Sir, 19 to the power of minus 8 upon 35.
Guys, Fahad has said this answer. Who agrees with him? Raise your hand if you agree with Fahad. And raise your hand if you. Okay, first raise your hand if you agree with Fahad. Oh, no one agrees with Fahad. That's a bit sad. No, Ishal does. Yes, Ishal. Do you agree with Fahad? Ishal does. Shafi does. So Ishal's teamed up with Fahad. Zoya. Okay, also wait. I think we have the same initials for a lot of people now. Zoya and Zoha. What I'm going to do is that, ZY is going to be Zoya, and ZH is going to be Zoha. And a lot of people, Saad and Ishal and Amdan. Practically everyone is teaming up with Fahad. Fahad has, converted everyone to himself. Who is not agreeing with Fahad? Hani has not agreed with Fahad, nor has Rani. Yes. Yes, Hani, do you have a separate answer? No, Hani's raising her hand. Hani's being very diplomatic. Raneem is the only one who's not raised her hand. Raneem, are you still there? Raneem, do not pass out. Hello. Where did Raneem go? Is she in the chat? No, only Hani's in the chat. Yes, Raneem. Raneem was here, guys. Raneem, if you're saying something, we can't hear you. And Basit has also not raised his hand. And I think all of you are wrong. I don't know. I have a vibe. Let's see. So Fahad has said this. Everyone says that, everyone agrees with Fahad. Sneaky little idiots I have over here. So what's going to happen is 19. That's my base. I know for sure that it's going to be, it's going to remain this way. We're not going to change it up. The base is going to remain the same. So for the time being, I can ignore my base, completely ignore it. And simply what I can do is that I can just add the bases up or the powers up. So it's 1 minus 3 over 7. I had to take LCM. How do I take LCM? 7 plus, oh, sorry, it's going to be minus 15 over 35 and minus 8 over 35. All right. So that is why Fahad and everyone else is wrong and I'm right, as always. All right. So, yes. Fahad, are you shouldn't make these type of mistakes, Fahad. It's not good. You should avoid them careless mistakes. Nonetheless, the answer is 19 raised to the power minus 8 over 35. Anyone who's got any issues at all? Yes, Shafi, you've raised your hands. Any issue? Yes, Shafi. Any question that anyone has? No issues at all, guys. Anyone who doesn't get this, raise your hand right now. All right. Hopefully everyone's gotten this. Perfect. Let's move on forward. Now, what if the same thing is happening? The bases are same and everything is same. And, bases are equal and are being divided. If I just switch things up. What do you guys think is going to happen? Yes, Zoha. Oh, wow, Zoha. Jinx. Yes, Zoha.
You're going to minus the powers.
Well done, Zoha. Powers are subtracted. So obviously, if you're doing the inverse over here, if you're multiplying and now you're dividing, obviously you're doing the opposite function, the completely opposite function. Your powers are going to add and subtract as well. Powers are added, powers are subtracted.
Sir,
Hmm.
I cannot
Yes,
see. Can you zoom in?
you cannot see. Oh, is that an issue with everyone else as well? Like, am I zoomed out? Honey, can
No,
you
sir,
see
I'm
now?
just not wearing my
You're not wearing your glasses? All right.
Yes, sir, I can.
Now, honey, isn't clear? I think so.
Yes, teacher.
All right, honey. Now, as simple as it was beforehand, A over A, X, Y, simply what's going to happen? Before I simply did, your um subtraction or addition. Now I'm just simply going to subtract the powers with each other. And this is extremely useful when you guys realize that this is going to be used in physics as well. Almost all of you are going to be taking physics. So I don't know if you've done this or not already, but whenever we say that meter per second squared for acceleration, and then we seem to write it as ms minus 2, what does that state is that because you were dividing, when you took it up, the sign became minus. Why? Because when you're dividing, the power becomes, if the bases are same and everything of that sort happens, the powers become, your powers are subtracted if the bases are equal and are being divided. Now, any example that I can quote is, I'll think of an easy one this time around. So, for example, it's going to be 1 and it's going to be, um, let's just say that 3 raised to the power 4 over 3 raised to the power minus 7. So one thing that I know for sure is going to happen is that my base is going to remain 3, 4 minus 7. So it's going to be 3 raised to the power 11. Any issues with this, guys? Anyone who doesn't get this? I'm not going to go into deeper because applications. We are going to do questions at the end, but whatever happened over here, technically the same thing is happening over here. The only difference is that the bases are being divided and your powers are being subtracted. Any issues with this, guys? Anything that you guys don't get? All right. Hopefully this is clear. Hamdan, is this clear?
Yes.
All right. Keeping this in mind, we're going to move on with another property. Now we've done two properties when the bases are equal and are being multiplied and divided. But what happens when we've not really talked about what if I make some sort of changes to the power itself? Like for example, I say that when the power is equal to 1, what happens? So when the power is equal to 1, simply what happens is that your base, there's no two stories to it. Your base remains the same. Whatever your base was, it is going to remain the same. So your base remains the same. So what is going to happen is that, for example, even if you've got like a very large number, for example, something Honey would think of like 10,105 or 10,500, and as soon as you see that it has the power of 1, simply what's going to happen is that your final answer is going to be 10,500 as it is. Because it's the power of 1. That means it's not being multiplied to itself anytime. It's probably being multiplied to 1. So the base is going to remain the same regardless of whatever you might be expecting the answer to be. regardless how whatever howsoever the base twisted the base may seem, whatever it is, whenever you have a raised to the power of 1, the answer is always going to be a. Keeping this in mind, let's look at what happens when the power is equal to 0. We've seen, positive powers, we know what they do. We've seen, when the power is equal to 1. But what happens when the power is equal to 0? Yes, Shafe, any idea what happens? Come on, Shafe. Hello. Yes, Shafe, can you hear me?
Then whatever number it is, it turns into 1.
Perfect, Shafe. Very well done. So when when the power is equal to 0, your base becomes 1, or base will become equal to 1. Your base will become equal to 1, regardless of what it is. Anything goes over here. Is that, like, for example, a raised to the power 0 is going to be equal to 1. Make sure that you know this. Do not confuse these two together. Some students think that any base with the power of 1 is equal to 1. No, that's not the case. It's the base itself. And if the base has what you may call you know if oh sorry if a certain base has the power is equal to 0, the base will consequently become 1. Is this clear? Any issues with this? Hopefully not. So, for example, any example, any example, yes, someone's got their hand up. Yes, Afia.
Sir, but if the number is negative, then if the power is 0, it turns into -1, right?
If the number is negative
Like the
and
base is negative.
okay, yes, obviously. Yeah. Shafe, very well done. Excellent question by Shafe. He's saying that what if I've got a negative number? Now, I've told you that whatever the base was, it was going to remain as the base. You've not seen me tamper with the sign of A as it is. So, Shafe is absolutely right. Yes, Shafe, it's going to be in the negative number. Because we're saying that the base remains the same. Whatever condition the base was in beforehand, we're not concerned with that. The base could have been a fraction. The base could have been a decimal, the base could have been a negative number, a whole number, whatever it is. We don't care about it. The only thing that we're caring about is the fact that when the power is equal to 1, the base will remain the same. Is this clear, guys? Excellent question, Shafir. Well done. So now what's going to happen is that, for example, if you have the power is equal to 0, nonetheless, whatever number do you have, the answer is going to be equal to 1. Regardless of whether it's a positive number, a negative number, a decimal fraction, whatever. Anything goes. Now, let's see who answers this question. The base will become 1 when the power is equal to 0. But there is one other scenario in which the base becomes 1. Can someone tell me what is that scenario? Yes. Mic's open for anyone. Yes, Basit. What's your idea about it? Basit? Basit, you have to Google one other. Oh, sorry. You have to tell me one other scenario in which the base is what you may call when in which the base becomes 1, but not this scenario. This is when the power is equal to 0, so the base becomes 1. In another scenario, the base is also 1, or becomes 1. But what is that? Yes, Basit. Basit.
Yes, sir.
To Basit. Yes, Basit. No idea, Basit?
No, sir.
No? All right, no worries, Basit. What about you, Vishal? Vishal? Vishal thought, the entire class, she'll just sneak, she'll just stay silent and I wouldn't notice. Yes, Vishal.
Yes, sir.
Give me one other scenario in which the base becomes 1. Come on, quick. Okay, we'll get back to you. Fahad, you've had enough time to Google now. Yes, Fahad.
Sir, I don't know.
Oh my God, Fahad. Google not Googling? What about ChatGPT? Did you try that? It gives wrong answers, by the way. I've noticed that ChatGPT does. I've looked for so many myself. But nonetheless, yes, Hani. Hani has gone completely radio silent. Yes, Hani. Give me one other scenario. Come on, guys, think. How will the base become 1? And I'm saying that this is not the scenario. Yes, Hani. Hani, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, no worries. Yes, what about you, Hamdan? No?
No.
Raneem? Where did Raneem go, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Raneem, are you still here?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, sir.
And also, Raneem, could you tell me when does the base become 1 without the power being equal to 0? Like any other scenario that you might know of or Google might?
I don't know.
No? This is so easy, by the way. You guys are going to be like, oh. Yes, Saad. Any other scenario where the base becomes 1? Saad. Saad. Saad has completely disappeared. Okay, we'll ask Shafi. Yes, Shafi. No? Shafi is thinking he'll sit this one out. Yes, now the newbies. We'll ask Zoha. Yes, Zoha.
I'm not sure.
What? Okay. Any fluke even you might want to attempt here? Zoha? No? All right. What about you, Zoha? Come on, Zoha.
Are you saying that I don't have to use power 0? The answer should be 1.
Yeah, Zoha's
So
on to something.
1 power 1.
1 power 1. Okay, okay. Stay there. Stay on that regard. What is 1 power 1? Like, what is it? Explain it to me in terms of powers and bases.
1 power 1 is 1.
Yeah, it is. I completely get you. You're so close. Like, what do you call it when someone's close? Like born or something? I forgot the game that we played. Yes, Zoya. You're very close. Hmm. You're almost there. Yeah, Zoya.
I don't get what you're trying to ask. I have to use power 1 and I have to get
No, I'm saying that the base becomes 1. You have to tell me one other scenario without using the power is equal to 0. And you're absolutely correct. Zoya told us that, for example, she said that, for example, she used that, what if 1 raised to the power 1? The answer is also 1, right? But I'm also saying,
Teacher, what's your
yep,
question? I'm not getting the question.
I am saying, okay, it's kind of like a riddle. The riddle is, I want you to make the base 1 without using the power 0. Make the base equal to 1. Zoya's got it right. Zoya has got it right. Like she's got it. Well done, Zoya. She said, what if I keep the base as equal to 1 and the power is equal to 1? Or, dumb idiots, now listen over here. I think of you guys, like, this is so easy. You're going to kill me after this. If I keep, has anyone raised their hand or something? No, they've not. All right. I thought someone would have gotten it, but Zoya was the closest. If I keep the power base as equal to 1 and I keep the power as equal to 200 or something like that, what's my answer? Yes, people.
1.
1. So the same scenario is going to take place again, which is what? That when the base is equal to 1, it will always remain 1 or it will become 1 after whatever power you have. That's like common sense, guys. You multiply 1 with itself 100 times or 1000 times, it's always going to remain 1. So when the base is equal to 1, regardless of what the power is, the base will remain 1. Because 1 has no effect on the power. Like, for example, okay, what does this mean actually? When I say that 1 raised to the power 3, it means that I'm multiplying 1 by itself 3 times. Oh, by itself 3 times. So, regardless of how many times I multiply 1 by, it's always going to remain 1. So, whatever what you may call power you may have, if your base is equal to 1, your answer will always equal to 1. So base will remain equal to 1. That was what my question was. Zoya got it right in the fact that she, placed 1 raised to the power 1. And, obviously you're going to get 1. But at the same time, 1 raised to the power of anything is also going to be 1. All right. So any what you can call number, any base, any power to a base which is equal to 1 is always going to be equal to 1. You can clearly see that I've used a variable, as the power. So that means, there could be any power that there is. Yes, people, is this clear? Any issues with this? Anyone that doesn't get this, let me know right now. Hamdan, Zoha, is this clear? Yes, guys, come on.
Yes.
All right. Perfect. So we're going to leave it till here for today, even though Hani was telling us that, we should study more today. But, we'll skip it till here. All right, Hani? Okay. Nonetheless, we're going to continue on from this in our next class. Also, we have a Google Classroom for the ones that do not know about it. Kindly text me your what you may call your functional emails. And by functional, I mean, the emails that you guys regularly use, because all the notifications, I think, from Google Classroom show up on those emails. So I want you guys to, make sure that, we have send me your emails. Can you do send it to me on WhatsApp if you guys have my number? I think your parents would have it nonetheless. All right. I was trying to make this is a dumb smiley for you guys today because, well, a lot of you are. Nonetheless, if there's any questions, Zoya and Zoha, any questions from you guys? You were like joining in for the first time. Zoha, is this any questions at all?
No, it's okay.
And Zoya, what about you?
No questions.
All right. Do send me your emails, guys, who are not in the Google Classroom, that I can add you onto there, because all the and also, yes, Zoha and Zoya, we also have test classes as well. Also, Honey, stay back. I want to talk to you about the test class as well. I remembered, and you had texted me. All right, we have test classes as well. They are kept separate from me. I will be giving the test, and the other teacher will, my colleague will be taking them or invigilating them. But I will be checking the test, and I'll be taking the tests are going to be from me. All right. So we're going to do that as well. Nonetheless, keep smiling. I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. Please be on time. Allah Hafiz and bye bye. Honey, stay here.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, Allah Hafiz,
Officer.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, Allah Hafiz, Allah Hafiz. Yes, Honey, what's up?
Hi, teacher.
I'm good, Honey. All right, Honey. You were asking me, you are not available on Thursday because you have a class or something of that sort?
On Friday. I guess the timing was 7 to 8.
I think so. I don't really know. I've not updated it yet. The other teacher hasn't
Yes.
told. It's 7 to 8 on Friday, and you have a class on that time.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a class with any other teacher from the academy, or is it a different class?
No, it's a different class.
All. Oh, then that's an issue. If it was from the academy, I would have done something because okay. Honey, for now you can take your classes. You can take your other class. Okay, do not come to the test class, but you will have the extra burden of doing the test. Okay, I will not exempt you from doing the test. All right.
Okay, okay, sir.
You're so excited,
Okay.
all of it. You know, I let one class go, but this is for the time being. If I change the time, I'll let you know. I'll ask the management to look into it. All right,
Okay, teacher.
because
Thank you.
this time is not determined by me. This time is determined by the other teacher. So she will obviously take into account that. But then you will have Saturday and Sunday to do whatever test I will give. You have to show up with the test on Monday. All right. And I will also tell the
Yes,
teacher to
teacher.
extend your deadline as well. All right. She keeps a deadline as well that you have to submit it in class, but I will tell her to extend your deadline. Okay. All right.
G. Okay.
All right, honey. As always,
And
keep
sir, आप notes
Hmm.
करेंगे ना?
Obviously, honey. But first, I need to make some notes. These are not notes enough. Like, I don't think these are enough notes. There's just one big gigantic smiley. I will upload them and, I'll try to upload them with each chapter. I'll try to do that.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
अच्छा टीचर आप जरा ऊपर कर देंगे मुझे एक स्क्रीनशॉट लेना है.
Yeah, yeah. Also, yes, I think everyone else left. Everyone else is so dumb. Do take screenshots and do write down the notes in class. Tomorrow I'll tell them.
Yes, teacher. I'm writing the notes.
Well done, honey. Anything that you don't get, honey,
Okay.
from this?
No, teacher. All clear till now.
Perfect. All right. Keep smiling. I'll see you tomorrow. Not enough. Allah Hafiz.
Yes.
Allah Hafiz.